What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. This is going to be an awesome episode. The Zen master of real estate, Jeff Latham, is back. If any of you have not caught Jeff's previous episodes, go back and listen to them because they are, both Greg and I have said this behind the scenes, what we think of as probably some of the most potentially life-changing episodes, radically perspective shifting and altering episodes that we've ever done. Granted, just listening to me and Greg by ourselves is a revelation.
Yes.
But when we have someone like Jeff Latham on the show who has built a multi-million-dollar real estate team, he's done the 7th level exit, he's scaled down, he's done all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about simplifying everything in your life and still winning. That's the topic of today's conversation. But I mean, Jeff has really been one of those guys that's been there, done it all, and has really seen every phase and every aspect of the real estate game, but is approaching it from the perspective of doing what's best for the long-term happiness of yourself and your family, and not just what strokes the biggest ego. And there's a lot of ego in real estate, and especially in the team world. So I'm excited for this conversation. We've got a lot to get into. First of all, the Junior Grandmaster, firmly ensconced in the co-pilot seat where you so belong. Greg McDaniel, what's up today?
I do love when you say firm and you say my name after that, Matt. Thank you so much.
Is that because you don't understand what the word ensconced means?
Shut up. No. I'm super happy. We were talking off of air. Here's something I wanted to share with you guys. Now, I always laugh about the fact that I have painted toenails because of COVID and everything else, right? And I talked to this lady about a month ago, give or take. I was walking outside my building and I was going into to a listing appointment, which by the way I got. She and I bonded over the fact that I had painted toenails. She called me, guys, this morning sobbing because her mother passed away 48 hours ago randomly. And her mom was supposed to come and move with her. And I said, well, I really appreciate it. Why did you call me? And she said, because I bonded with you immediately, energetically. And I'm like, why is that? She's like, because of the toenails. And I sat there and I was kind of laughing because it's silly, right? But it's also super powerful to the fact that what you do in life, everything you do in life is going to have a ripple effect in everybody else's life that you're around. And this woman was like sobbing on the phone with me. And I just said, I work for you. I'm here. We'll get it sold for you. And then I had another client call me back a couple of minutes ago when we were doing the pre-show talking about negotiations on another transaction I'm in right now. And each one of them said to me, Greg, I trust you 100%. I believe in whatever you're going to tell me. It's a powerful thing, man. And I think what we're going to be talking about today, when it becomes simplifying life, like what I call Jeff the Buddha of real estate, because he's like namaste, like real estate namaste. And it's really kind of thinking about what's important to you guys. So that's a long intro, but I had to share that story about that lady because she was so grateful. She was crying on the end of our call, going, "Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg, for being to help me and my family." I'm like, and I fucking started crying. I'm like, it's my pleasure. Okay. It's true.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. You're an emotional guy.
Gene
gets lots of feelings over there. Gene, what's up today?
Gene is shaking his head at me like,
listen, here's what I want to say to you. Oh God, if there wasn't somebody that passed away, I would be ripping you to shreds right now.
Hey,
but somebody did.
48 hours. Okay.
Is that what I need?
And I can't go into the house because she wants her mother's energy to stay calm and collective in the house. And I'm like, well, fuck, how do you argue against that? Okay. You don't.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So, Gene, don't be a dick.
I'm not. I'm actually being very calm right now. I want to say so many things to you.
Well, we do have the Buddha of real estate here, Mr. Jeff Latham. Good God. I can't talk. I've been talking too much and I'm too emotional. That's it. I'm done. Matt, run the show. I'm clicking out. Goodbye.
All right. Let's do it. First of all, Jeff Latham, welcome back to the show officially. How are you these days?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me. It's always a good time when the three of us have a conversation. 4 of us.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
We never know
so
where it's
catch us
going to
up a
go, but
little
it's
bit.
always awesome.
I know we don't know where exactly it's going to go, and you're in an interesting spot in life, and it doesn't sound like you know exactly where that's going to turn out. So you're kind of on a journey, kind of on an exploration. So catch us up a little bit. Maybe give us an idea, because when we first encountered you, you're kind of starting out on this journey where you'd built the perfect 7th level team. You did, hundreds of transactions a year, and then you realized that you're actually happier and more profitable at a different level of transactions. So then when we first met you, you'd kind of already been on that journey of stepping back, getting less concerned about the overall number of deals you were doing, and you were more concerned with profit and lifestyle. Now you just keep pushing that further. Now you're looking at actually moving away from your home market. So maybe catch us up. What did the team look like and do last year, and how did you guys make it through all the COVID insanity?
Sure. Well, last year we did about 150 transactions, probably 65 million. So it's a fair amount of volume. Yet what's shifting is I got to the point to where I started dreading even having team meetings, right? And I like to have my calendar have as much white space as possible. And I found the more white space I have in my calendar, the simpler my life is. And the more money I actually make, which is really strange. And so since I haven't been pouring a lot of value in coaching and growing some of my agents, there's been attrition, which I'm completely okay with. And I'm just on this path of simplicity at the moment. And I think it's just this chapter in my life that we're living. Before I wanted to crush it, win, beat everybody, because I have this competitive side of me, and then I have this other side of me that is more intra-perspective, if that's a word, and just looking at the end game. And the end game is really just to, I think most people work to be able to retire, to play in their later years of life. And I just see an opportunity to do that now, and to spend more time with my children, be more free. And so the less shit I'm doing, the less people I'm dealing with, the less agents I'm coaching, the less transactions I'm doing, the more peace I have.
The funny thing, Jeff, is that I always laugh about it lately. And it's been probably the last 2 months. Dude, I'm working from my bed. I have a robe on and nothing else for all you ladies. Matt shaking his head, just pinching his nose, and I finally got a nose pinch. I haven't gotten one of those in months. This is perfect.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing. What Jeff is talking about is 100% authentic and real, because what I'm doing is I'm working slower, but I'm getting more business from my time spent. And like you said, you work in the white space, and that's not a racial thing. That's just purely a term. So nobody get all their panties up in a knot.
White spaces matters.
White.
Oh my God, Jeff, that was awesome. Okay.
But hold on.
Okay, keep going, Greg.
Oh my God. Okay, that was the quote of the day. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Guys, here's the thing. Jeff, you tell me your numbers prior, when you were super competitive, and now what you're doing now. And it doesn't have to be spot on down to the number, but the whole point is this, that you have slowed your life down, and you're getting more value out of it. And everybody seems to say, like, I'm going like 365 miles an hour, and I'm doing $20 billion in volume, and I'm Gene Volpe, and I got the most beautiful bald head in the world. And you know what, this, that, and another thing. But you said pretty much, fuck that noise. I'm just going to go do me. I'm going to go chill, and I'm just going to relax. And the beginning of this year, and this is recorded in 2021, guys, and in February. And I said, I want to be out of, production in January of 2021. All of a sudden, deals are coming across my desk 1,000 miles an hour. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, I'll list your 40-acre parcel. Okay, I'll take that 1.8 million. Okay, I'll take that 750. Okay, I'll list that 699. What the shit? But it's all because of slowing down. And Jeff, I want to hear your thoughts on this, and definitely go back to Gene on this. But there's a power in that, right? Just slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah. What you pursue eludes you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can just let go, abundance just flows to you, and it's an energy thing, I'm sure.
Wait, say that again. Say that again, because I think maybe somebody missed that right there.
Well, you just the art of slowing down and letting go. And we're always trying to control everything. And I think there's that bumper sticker that says, "When you have a plan, God laughs," right? And
Matt, that should ring true to you.
It definitely does. Yes,
Yeah.
I had many plans, and God laughed at all of them.
yeah, and and it's just, I don't know. I just think we have different chapters of our life, and there's different ways to do things, and different people have different models. And I followed the MREA and built it to the 7th level, doing 267 deals, and my team did them all, and I did none of them. There's still a mental energy that's consumed when you have all these open loops and you have all this shit going on. True. And I've just found the less I have going on, the more I can just play and be present.
Can you talk about an open loop really quickly?
Well, it's just, for example, I own a commercial building right now, right? Mm-hmm. And that thing has a lot of issues with it. And I can go build it out and make it highly profitable, turn it into an Airbnb and have passive income with it. But really, I don't want to fucking deal with it.
Right.
It's an open loop. So once I get rid of it, it's occupying space in my mental, in my mind, mm-hmm. which is probably blocking me from creating in other areas or being more free. So I'm just shedding weight and just shedding stuff, and it's kind of fun.
Well, you are devastatingly handsome, so I don't think shedding weight is an issue for you. Here's a weird thing. Like, as all of you guys know, I had 2 cats: Sudi, my little fat bitch, and then Bandito, my big black boy. And they were my cats, right? They're my best friends and everything else. They both died. Bandito died the day before my birthday last year, literally December 9th. My birthday is December 10th. Worst day ever. Can you talk a little bit about energy? And because we're talking about simplicity, right? Is it bad that I felt relieved that he died because I didn't have to worry about him anymore? And what would that mean? Again, I miss him every day. I dream about him every night. Literally, I see him in my dreams. But when it comes to business and being simplistic, Bandito is just a metaphor for everybody else's goals, right? What they want in their life. When it comes to eliminating your team, how did that feel for you, and what would that mean for people if they had to let it go? Like, I had to let Bandito go because he had a cancer, he had fluid in his lungs, and it was the good thing to let him go. And that's a lot of our businesses. Like, we get cancers in our business, right? We get different things that are a problem, and we don't see them until we have to see them. But then once you let them go, is it bad to let it go, or is it good to let it go?
I think it's fine. I think there's perspective in death, and there's a lot of perspective. I lost my martial arts instructor about 2 weeks ago. He was one of my best friends. Oh, wow. And you get perspective, and you learn what really fucking matters. Mm-hmm. And so if you could have the same revelation when I lost my dog, right? He was my best friend. And the gift in it is you understand that this life is short, and before you know it, you're fucking 40 years old, and you've been in real estate for 20 years, and you're like, what happened? And then you start to understand what's important, and all that matters really is here and now and relationships. And so then you can start looking and being like, okay, this is what I've done, is how can I slow down, spend more present time with my family, my wife and children, and play more, and escape this system that was built by man that's flawed, that they're continually changing the rules of, and just escape out, get outside of it, get outside of the matrix and get that freedom. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, dude. So you said something that is really incredible. You said, go play more.
Fuck yeah.
Why do people not play more? Well, shouldn't we be playing at every given moment. I mean, Gene's got 2 beautiful girls. Matt's got like 3 fat, obese kids that we still got to get the diabetes medicine right for him and those kids. I mean, those fuckers just go through walls like it's nobody's business. You know, and Jeff, you're doing some different things in your life. Why do people not play more?
I believe it's because, well, in my experience, the reason what's occupied my space is hunting for the deal always. I was always on the hunt. More. I've grown up in this idea of accumulate more and more and more shit, do more, win more, be more. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong. It's just what I've learned, and this is the next chapter in my life. And I'll let you know once I go on my farm for a year and see how it works. But I think real estate can really you take on the buyer and seller's emotions.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you have Commissions Inc. and Real Estate Webmasters and Boomtown, and then all these different CRMs and all these systems and everything, and all this money going out because you follow the MREA and you want to compete with everybody else, and you're not mastering any of it, and you're not present, and your life flashes before your eyes.
Gene, let me ask you a question, because you're the only other person besides Jeff that has kids on this show right now. When it comes to playing more, where would you land in regards to that statement? If you could step back.
You mean like as a percentage of how much I do play versus what I should be doing?
No, it's like what Jeff was saying is like, you know, if you could play more, but like me, like I literally have actively tried to step out of real estate on a consistent basis, but this fucking bitch will not let me go. It's like a bad ex-girlfriend. But you know what? If you could, and Matt just sitting there, just going like, gonna sip my coffee, not gonna have any emotions. Nope. But Gene, I mean, in regards to you with your daughters, I mean, if you could do what Jeff is doing, right? And he's making some interesting life choices, what we're not going to talk about because I know it's his personal stuff. You know, how would you do that? How would you market that? I mean, what would that look like?
I don't think I would market it. That's he's private for a reason, right? I think I don't know that that's a marketing play other than he's successful. How did he get there? I like the part about you know, what he said about, you know, elusive and is what you chase. Like, I think that there's an element of him being able to, it's like sports, right? So they say the best hitters in baseball are the ones that can actually slow down the ball, right? It's like when you have a good day, right? And you go, they always say you hit 4 doubles today and 5 at bats. What were you doing? You know, the ball was slower today for me. I could see it, you know, and I think it's like one of those things where when look, Jeff and I are opposite ends of the spectrum. He's very in tune with himself. He is, I can tell he's very zen. I'm an absolute running locomotive train wreck. But I thrive there. Like I thrive there. And that's, like he said, it's not wrong. It's not right. I thrive in a space where I'm doing the exact opposite of what Jeff does. When I'm left to my own thoughts, if I was up with Jeff, wherever he's at, and I was forced to listen to nature for 6 minutes, I'd jump off a cliff. Like that. That's who I am. Like that's just who I am. You know what I mean? But I think with Jeff, I think part of that elusive stuff that he was talking about, I almost feel like in his world, and you know, Jeff, I hope I'm not speaking for you. I'm just saying from my perspective, this is what it looks like, is that he was able to take a step back and go, this stuff's bullshit, and I can actually be more effective and more focused by pulling stuff off my schedule as opposed to adding more. And I operate sort of the opposite, which is I am so much more effective at life in general when I'm busy. Like when I have to sit here and figure out stuff to do, my marriage is in trouble. My kids are like, why is he staring at the ceiling? Like I don't operate in that space.
I have so many answers for that.
Go for it. I mean,
that's
me.
hilarious.
That's just who I am. I mean,
Yeah.
Gene, you're the anti-Zen.
I am.
but Jeff, I want to go back. The conversation about the open loops is really interesting because I hadn't thought about that. Like but I've been on a similar journey in that way too. Like I have been over the last couple of years looking at it like every single thing that I can take off my calendar, I have. Right. And I keep paring back as much as possible.
Wait, is
Turn
that
off
why
all-
is that why our friendship has diminished? Is that why?
Sure, that's why. It's not at all that you're just annoying and loud and not all that fun stuff. Anyway, but I've turned off all notifications on the phone, all notifications on the computer. I deleted Facebook and Instagram off of my phone, so it's not even accessible. I literally cannot sit and scroll on either of those two platforms. Because I noticed the same thing I probably that you did, which is the open loops. You don't think about each one of them, but if you're not that person like Gene that thrives on being the locomotive train wreck, like if you're like, I feel like Jeff, you and I are all be more in on the other opposite end of the spectrum, where we feel like we thrive when we have more white space on the calendar. Like when I get up every day, if I had 8 to 10 hours of stuff on my calendar to do, I wake up that day and go, ugh. You know, when I look at Mondays, which I don't have any calls booked anymore on Mondays, I look at that and go, I can do anything I want. I can work on my podcast. I can work on this and that. And I think people don't understand, like when you talk about open loops, we don't think about how all those things add up. Having the Boomtown account. It's like, oh man, I should really do something with that. Having the CRM, where you're like, oh man, I really need to sort my contacts. And then you've got all this stuff going on. And then like you talked about, you've got all those deals going on, even though your team was doing them. I think it's that mental weight on you that prevents you from doing other things and being present in the moment. And I think that's where people get into trouble, is they really don't understand how much all those little things, all those little open loops, they just add up and they prevent you from doing other stuff.
Well, when it comes to
that was where Jeff was allowed to jump in and say something.
Sorry,
go ahead, Greg.
Sorry. I'll just sit there and shrink.
I want to hear what Greg has to say. Let's hear it.
No, I was just going to say I agree with both what you and Jeff are saying. Is that like when I wake up in the mornings? Again, we're recording in 2021, and I look at my calendar, and my calendar has really opened up. It's opening up like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, yours used to be very
tight,
regimented all the way into the evening. Basically up until 7:30 at night when you were doing the McDaniel Challenge. Like you had your shit dialed in from 8 to 7 at night.
Dialed in. And here's the thing. I found value in that, but I didn't find joy.
Wow, that's good.
You know, and I now find joy because I lay in my bed and I do work off my laptop in my robe with nothing else on. And I just sit there and I get more business coming to me because I find pleasure in it. I go for a walk, down the path, and I sit there and I look at the trees, talk to people, and I build relationships, and I've changed my lifestyle. Like I used to be in the office literally in the office at 6:30 in the morning. Like I was the person turning on the lights in the office, starting the coffee and everything else. And I thought that was value, but I had no joy in that. And Jeff, that's what you're talking about. Like you have more joy now in what you're doing, right?
Yeah. And the end goal is if you live a joyful life, not saying you don't, if you have a lot going on, it's just, I think I'll butcher this scripture, but it says like the pathway to heaven is to be like children. I look at my kids and they're always fucking happy. They don't give a shit about a deal going sideways. They don't give a fuck about politics. They're just these happy little midgets. And they got it figured out, and they create and manifest anything they fucking want. Right? And there you go. Look how happy they are.
They're not Jeff's kids, to be clear.
Those are mine.
They're not Jeff's
Good Lord.
But to speak to what Gene, what you're saying as well, there's multiple energies, right? Because I have this warrior side to me that will go and fuck shit up and can fight and defend my family and crush business. And that warrior came out in me in the last 8 months, and I went into protection mode with everything going on. And then I have the hippie also, which is very introverted, spiritual, connected, and slows down. And so they're both useful and they're both amazing. Like I wouldn't go take the hippie to a fist fight or combat because he would just get fucked up. And I wouldn't take the warrior to a yoga session, right?
Right.
But they're both, it's like what energy fits what time, right? So if things did get wild, then I could dial that up. If there's a time where you don't need it and you can be present and loving with your children, then that's when that person or that energy that I draw upon comes out. And with the freedom and stuff, Facebook also has a really good way of reminding me how fast my children grow up, Gina. I mean, I'm sure you see that when you have photos of your children.
Yep.
You're like, holy shit, what the fuck happened?
Yep.
They were just a baby. And I don't want that to happen anymore for me.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question. So for a lot of new agents or people that are trying to reinvent themselves, how do you know when to bring the hippie and the warrior out? I mean, how does that work for you?
Well, I mean, new agents, I think there's a lot of people that are teaching tactics that are not sustainable. Come to the office and grind and cold call from 10 to 12 every single day. For some people, it might work, not for me, right? I think any business, if you have a marketing-based business, then that's easy to do. But I would go learn and emulate from somebody that has the lifestyle that you want, the marriage that you want, the fitness that you want, the business that you want, ultimately.
So if you guys don't know, Jeff, have you bought your helicopter or not?
No, not yet. That's down the road now.
So he's looking to buy a helicopter. He had a massive yacht that he owned for a while, had a big team, doing hundreds and hundreds of deals every single year. So, I mean, this is a guy that can really sit at his feet and learn and listen to, because now he's namaste and he's doing all these crazy runs. And by the way, Jeff, you and I are still doing that mountain climb. That's still in the books. I mean, we can bring Matt, but I don't know if he'd like it. I think Gene would enjoy it.
Yeah, let's do it. We're running a 100-mile race in May and at 8,000 feet elevation. So,
oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yeah,
like
that's
for the
record, that's something that I would not enjoy.
Yeah, but that's where the warrior has to come out. That's where you really, when you push your body to those limits, also there's a gift there because you can learn what you're made of too. So, it might go against the less is more thing.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, Gene, it just depends on what happens. I mean, if we kidnap you and bring you to the top of 8,000 feet, you don't have any choice but to get down. So it really just depends on how you're manipulated into being up there.
No, from a physical fitness perspective, I love those challenges. That would be something I would struggle and cry through the whole thing, but I would do it.
Yeah.
All right, so Jeff, here's a good question for you, because I think people that are listening would resonate with the feeling of wanting more white space, fewer open loops, more rest, more relaxation. I don't even know if maybe those aren't good words, but more being present, more being in the moment, enjoying the ride, having fun along the way. And I can definitely relate to that. I'm the person that, before I started to figure this out, I was the person that felt like I had to make myself miserable to push myself because I hadn't achieved the goal yet. And if I allowed myself to enjoy myself before I hit the goal, I wouldn't keep working towards the goal. So the key was make yourself miserable until you hit the goal, and then you're allowed to be happy. Well, the goal never comes, right? Because you stay stuck in that mode. Yeah. So I think the key for most people, you alluded to a little bit, which is having a marketing-based business. That's one of the things that allows you to keep the business going. And you're not having to grind every day and pick up the phone and call. So you have a marketing-based business. So that's to me, that's one of the secrets of the life that you built for yourself. Is there anything else like that you would attribute to? How do you build that life where you're allowed to stay present, but you still keep providing for the family? You're still making progress in the business. You're still doing deals. Is there anything else that you would add, on top of having like a marketing-based business? Is there any other secrets to that kind of life?
Yeah. And you can't, to speak to the grind, you can't suffer your way to success. Right. And I think what I've found is just pulling bigger levers. Right. So when we get buyer leads anymore, I can't help them. It doesn't work.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Our inventory is so low. It doesn't, I'm not going to go get in hand-to-hand combat over a house and fight 20 or 30 offers. Sorry, it just doesn't work. So we're really focusing on listings. And then, what we do is we list people's homes, or we buy people's homes and allow them to stay in them until they find their next home. Okay. And that's helped us be able to be more agile than most real estate agents. I'll give you an example. I bought this gentleman's home in a city about 30 miles from me. And I met with him, and he wanted 400 grand, and it's worth 450. And then I asked him this powerful question. So how much you want in your pocket? He said $150,000. Well, now this made this deal feasible because he only owed 190. So I ended up buying it for 350. The home will be worth 500. He wants to stay in it until August. And so I bought his home, closed on it. He's moving to Mexico. He'll have his money and the certainty. Deal's closed, and I'll make 150 by helping him and just being a little different and pulling a bigger lever. So when you do that, you don't have to do as many deals and work as hard when you can kind of do things differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Pull bigger levers. Yeah, and I think the one that you mentioned first, just I know Greg and I have fought about this for years, but like Greg loves working with buyers, always has. But yeah, I've always given him a hard time about that. And I think now is the perfect time. I mean, Jeff, you called it. It's hand-to-hand combat. And if
I used to crush buyer business.
Well, I mean, I working with buyers is like an Easter egg hunt, right? I love being out there. I love trying to find the right house for them and what's going to work for them, and so on and so forth. But I do believe, Jeff, after 21 years in this business, pulling bigger levers is absolutely the best move for you. When you get into the business, you pull any lever you can get your hands on. Like buyer, seller, buyer, the whole thing. But when you get deeper into this and you build your name and reputation, like you have done incredibly well with your brokerage and everything else, it is working smarter, not harder. And what would be, for folks that are listening and watching and everything else, what would be the definition of a bigger lever?
Well, yeah, I don't want to discourage anybody from working with buyers because that's how I built my business. And I may make it look effortless or easier, but yeah, I've been doing this since 2002. Right. So.
Oh shit, man! You and I have been doing this the same amount of time.
Yeah, we've been around the block, so it is easier for us now. But I'm going to share with you something. Throughout the years, I've made a lot of money selling real estate. Netted on average $500,000 and was grossing over $2 million. Right. Which is kind of pathetic if you look at those numbers. But what I'm sharing with you is my wealth is made in investing in real estate. I just sold my home. I bought it in 2012 for $6.25, and I just sold it for $1.7 million.
Damn.
And I've never really been able to, when selling real estate, I would always find out how to spend that money that I was making, but I'll be greened up and have 6-7 figures, $1 million in cash. And so if you're talking about levers, that lever is going to allow me to go and we bought a big chunk of land. It's a 1/2 mile by 1/2 mile. And we're going to build our homes over there. And then I could take that $1 million now. And I can take that $1 million and I can parlay it into more money if I want to through investing, as long as it's simple and peaceful.
There is so much in that comment right there. I mean, holy macaroni. I mean, if you guys have not met Jeff, I want you to go and I want you to follow this guy on every platform he's on, because as you can tell, like, he's not talking fast. He's talking slow. He's talking methodical, and he's giving you tactical things you can go do and ideas you can put into your own life. A lot of us, we follow people that are so like, oh my God, look at this crazy thing. And it sounds fun, but he's a practitioner. He's actually doing this right now, real time, real life. I mean, I know, Gene, you have 5 minutes before you have to go. But I mean, give me some of your thoughts on what Jeff's doing, because some of the stuff that Jeff is doing, again, this is what we love having Jeff on the show. Again, we call him the Buddha of real estate because he's all namaste and just super mellow and chill. But he's also an assassin. Like, he's the guy that you never see coming in the dark alleyway, and then you're dead.
And then you're dead. I like to think Jeff's a little bit nicer than that. Like, am I supposed to be watching my back? What the hell? Ever since we did the first episode with Jeff way back, I've been friends with him on Facebook, and I love watching what he's doing. Like, without giving anything away, I always find that there's admiration in people that do things differently than you. Like, I just like to watch. Matt's another one. Matt Johnson, the way he focuses and the way he does certain things that are so alien to me. It's not that I don't agree or disagree with them. I'm enthralled by it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it any better, but I enjoy watching that and learning from little elements of it. Like, I'll steal something from Jeff's feed, and why are you laughing?
My mind went back to 14 years old, and you said little elements. I'm like, little.
Oh,
that was Micro
God.
Johnson. Now it's Micro.
My God. No, I like watching what these guys are doing, because I know that they are, and this goes for you too, Greg. You guys are at the pinnacle of your fields, and I'm always interested in watching what's going on in your states and where you're moving to and what you think about your governors, and like I love all that stuff. I'm a fan of it. So
that's
I always
a much longer episode than we have time for.
Oh, for sure. No, but just because I'm not going to slow my pace down to the level that Jeff doesn't mean I can't learn a couple things and fine tune what I'm doing based off of something that he's doing. And I think if you can be happy while you're picking little things out to make yourself a little happier than other people do, it's a win-win.
But the thing is Jeff is living Jeff, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Matt's living Matt, Gene's living Gene, I'm living me. And we all do it a little bit differently, but we all do it in the way that we feel best for ourselves. But I mean, when it comes down to being simplistic, like the title of the show, we all have found that version of simplicity. Jeff's, taking his different steps, and, Matt's, doing his thing with his book and kind of taking himself out of his business. And yes, I pick on him for his book title because I find it absolutely hilarious. But I think what the title is, Micro Famous. It's true. You don't have to be macro famous. You can be micro famous, and you can, really dig deep like an Alabama tick and go deep into kind of what the area. Don't laugh. He's smiling so hard, like, and shaking his head. And by the way, guys, I've got 2 nose pinches out of this entire show, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, great. It's a banner day in the McDaniel household.
God, it is. And then Gene's doing him. I mean, you built an incredible marketing service, and you know what? If we just pump the brakes a little bit and just look around and stop being so fucking concerned in regards to what everybody else is thinking about us and how big we can build our business. Like, Jeff, you were doing hundreds of deals. You stepped back, you went back. I think that, correct me if my numbers are wrong, you were doing like something like 300 to 400 deals with your team. And again, my numbers could be wrong, but then you stepped it back, and I believe it's 40 deals a year, and you're making more money because you slowed down a little bit. Am I accurate on those numbers?
Well, kind of. I think we talked about,
I'm totally wrong.
Someone doing 40 deals year on their own can make the same amount as someone that's doing a couple hundred or 300. And let me just share something with you guys. Because I have this conflict, because I want to go big. I want to crush it. I have big goals. I like crushing goals, but there's a conflict of the time and energy and how I feel like it conflicts with my freedom to be able to do whatever I want, whenever the hell I want. And one of my mentors, Jesse Elder, I remember having coffee with him in California, and he looked at me, I said, I don't know if I want to grow and expand. He said, growth is only necessary if it makes things simpler.
That's interesting. Growth is only necessary if it makes things simpler.
Wow.
Which cuts off a lot of growth opportunities, because most growth opportunities do not make things simpler. They add complexity. That's interesting. It's an interesting perspective. So what did that lead you to? Did it lead you to rethinking what you looked at as growth?
It just, whenever I look at expansion, does it take up more of my mental energy, or does it give me more freedom?
Fuck,
Gene, you're gonna say something to that?
Yeah, no, I think I got that. I mean, I really do. Like, I've always been, I was always thinking about that on the other side. It's like when we used to work at the call center, they would always say, there was this lady, Judy, there that was like in her 50s and 60s, and they would say to her, we want you to take on more responsibility and we want to give you a promotion. And she would say, no, I don't want it. And a lot of the managers would say, we got to do something about it. And I would say, hold on for a second. She's happy where she's at, and we need people to answer the phone. Like, where's the issue here? So I get the element of not everybody needs to be the king of the world. And if you get to a point where you're comfortable and people are talking to you about the growth, if the growth makes things more comfortable for you, then it makes sense for you to grow, as opposed to I'm comfortable here at my ceiling, and if growth causes pain, I'm not interested in it. Like, I totally get that.
That's Matt. Yeah. Take that snippet from this show. That's going to be our tagline. That's going to be the whole thing right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been telling you this for years, but you just don't listen.
Yeah, I do. I know. You've been trying to help me simplify and really make strategic choices in my life. But I don't.
And that doesn't mean we don't grow as humans, right? We're always growing and expanding. Yeah, it's just in the business context. If I'm growing my business and it's making it more complex, it's not in alignment with me anymore.
Well, but that's like we're all saying here. I mean, some people, they're ambitious and they want to take on that pain, right? Mm-hmm. You're at the level of success. You're like, you know what? Dial that back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm just for this season, for sure.
I'm gonna slow life down a little bit and have more fun. It's the old bull and the young bull, right?
Sure. All right, Jeff, where are you, by the way?
Are you referring to the two bulls sitting up on the top of the mountain?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I think that might make it more complex.
Yeah, we're not going to explain this right now. They can go research it themselves.
Oh, God. Can't believe you went there. You left me speechless.
I think a lot of people out there right now are laughing their asses off because they're like, I know what he's saying. So, Matt, over to you.
No, I asked a question, Jeff. Where can people go to connect with you?
Oh, man.
Guys, if you can't see him, Jeff is literally covering his eyes while laughing.
Jeez, that was good. You guys are so fun to talk to. I love it. For now, Facebook, and until things get a little too wild. But for now, we'll be there.
Yeah. All right. So it's actually the same thing we're looking at on your screen, Lathamator. So your last name Latham and then Ader. So it's just facebook.com/Lathamator. I love it.
It's like Terminator.
That's right. And then Gene, what's the best way for people to reach out and connect with you? Oh, man, many platforms.
Even though you're 46 years old, you can come see me at the Newtown Square movie theater this weekend. I'm going to see Tom and Jerry.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Tom and Jerry? You don't know about that?
Is this a movie I should be aware of?
It's a live action movie with Tom and Jerry. Yeah.
God. No, I don't have kids. I don't have to know about live action movies based on children's cartoons. I live in blissful ignorance of that.
You better get your shit together. That's where you're going to find me this weekend. And actually, that's not really true. That's not where I'm going to be. Just Google Gene Volpe. I just thought it was funny.
Okay. You guys with kids under 10. Sorry.
So everybody who is listening to this, Gene just lied to you.
I came clean though in the same sentence.
You did, and I honor that, East Coast style. Matt, now you have a pamphlet that you put together.
Yeah, it's a tiny brochure.
It's a wildly famous one. It's called Microfamous. And how can they get this pamphlet, aka a book?
Well, you can get the physical version on Amazon, or you can go get the free digital version at getmicrofamous.com.
And I haven't read it, but I hear it's about an interview with all the women you slept with around the United States.
Wow. That is terrible. Oh my God.
Sorry about that. I saw it. I took it. And I apologize. Sorry, Matt.
God. All right, Greg. How should people reach out to you to talk about EXP if they would also like to do most of their work from bed, like you apparently started doing?
I am not touching that last comment with a fucking 25,000-foot pole.
Thank you.
Yes, there's an innuendo there. You guys, so here's the thing. We're trying to grow our podcast. We're trying to get more people into our brokerage with EXP and everything else. But I don't want you to join EXP if that's not down for you. I just want to thank you for watching our podcast, listening to our podcast, being a part of our network. You know what? I want you guys to go out and I want you to, reach out to Jeff, reach out to Matt, reach out to Gene. We make a lot of jokes. Yes, we have a lot of fun on these shows. As you can obviously tell, we're laughing our asses off. And you should see the pre-show and the post-show because damn, that's some good shit too. But I want to thank you. I love you guys. I really appreciate you. And where the fuck did Matt go?
I think it's my camera.
Oh, now we just have you in my ear. That's creepy as shit. But yeah, so that there it is, guys. Reach out to me if you have any questions, thoughts, theories, or concerns. I do a lot of clubhouses right now. So if you go in the clubhouse, Gene, why do you look constipated?
Well, no, I don't know. I was just making a face.
You mean like this one?
You have to go. I thought you had to go.
No, I don't like to bail midstream. I can't.
Okay, we're
just waiting for Greg to wrap it up.
Yeah,
I am talking about pizza recipes.
Oh my
god, for dinner.
Oh my god, you two chuckleheads.
Go around the episode.
Hold on, you chuckle nuts. All right, guys, we love you to pieces. Even Matt loves you. Well, there's a little chunk of coal that he calls a heart. He still does care for you. Gene loves you to pieces. Jeff is just a legend amongst men, so we're honored to have you here. Gentlemen, I need 3 colors for the bow here today. So Matt, Gene, Jeff, give me 1 color each, and we're going to put it into a trifecta. Left, middle, right. Don't shake your head at me.
Orange for me.
Orange.
Royal blue.
Royal blue.
All right. What's our third color, Jeff?
Red.
Okay.
All right.
We
have a orange, royal blue, and red bow on the show, guys. Thank you so much. We love you to pieces. Thank you so much. Go give us a follow on all of different places where you guys listen to your podcast. Don't give us a 2-star, give us a 5-star, because that helps the algorithm will show people where they can find us so we can help more folks. So thank you very much. We love you to pieces. I love you. Gene loves you. Jeff loves you. Matt despises you, and we'll see you on the next show. But until then, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.